Let's talk about scaling judging past like 200 people, like 40, 50 things. So, Dave, do you want to get started?
Yeah, so more recently with hackathons, we started doing this like science fair style expo model. It's good, but it's not the best. So definitely if you guys have... Oh yeah. So we used to do judging for hackathons and like demos where it would just be one after the other and they would just be in front of everyone. But the problem with that, the biggest problem for me was one, that the closing of the hackathon, the end of the hackathon was really low energy. Because by the time you would go through 100 demos, you're already super tired and like people were falling asleep in the audience. And it just like, it just wasn't scaling anymore. So kind of the model that we've moved to for a lot of these bigger hackathons, and I've kind of run these expos at a few of them, is that everyone pretty much just gets up out of their seat and it turns into a science fair, where one person or more, but usually we try to get one person from each team demoing, where whenever someone comes to check out their hack, they actually get to like try the hack. They get to actually demo the hack. It definitely has its trade-offs. People don't get to be in front of the room and don't get to have that experience unless they make it in the top 10 or so. But at the same time, we're able to do judging much more effectively. What I personally do is we'll segment off each like 25 hacks and we'll send like 3 unmarked judges who are usually just students in the community who have been to a lot of hackathons. We'll send like 3 of them to each section and they'll hit every hack in that section. And then they'll come back and they'll give us like their top 3. And then we just keep thinning it down from there. But it isn't the most optimal model. One of the biggest complaints that we receive is that a lot of people don't feel like their hack gets enough attention sometimes. So we're working on it, and I'd love to hear people's ideas and about like what they do at their hackathons.
Hi, I'm Brian Wade. I went to Carnegie Mellon. I helped with Tartan Hacks, but actually this is more about something I've noticed at Angel Hacks, which what they do for their judging is they have everybody make like a video of their application, and so it feels a lot more interactive because it feels like you're making this thing and somebody's definitely looking at it, and it's a lot quicker because the judges can look at every single hack with it's just a 2-minute demo. So I think that's an interesting thing to consider.
About the video, I personally, through experience, don't like the video because it takes a lot of time to make a good video that's actually presentable, and that's time taken away from finishing your hack or making it better. It's just what I think.
Yeah, I actually kind of wanted to agree with that. So I'm Avi, also a high schooler. I don't go to BCA, I'm not organizing that, but I'm friends with Jared, a lot of other people here. And I kind of wanted to agree with that. So I was at PennApp's 2013 F, the last one they did, and I think it was their first time doing a video submission model. And I know the hack that I built, first of all, it was my first hackathon, so I didn't really know exactly how to put together a demo, but talking to a lot of people, especially some of the mentors who came around, they were just like, wow, your hack kind of was cool, but we threw together the demo in like literally an hour beforehand, and the only reason we got it done was because my partner was like mad skilled at like editing videos, and like he did that for fun, and like, it was really a different skill set. So I think if you are going to do a video submission, because it is a viable model for scaling to like tremendous amounts of demos, you really need to make that clear up front. So PennApps didn't really say that ahead of time, and then if we had known, we would have like planned our time so that we would have had 20 minutes, the night before, let's plan our video, let's actually, I'll close on this. I mean, the most important thing at a hackathon is actually not what you build, but how it looks and how it's demoed. That's like really, really important, and you have to architect your app around how it's going to be demoed. And if you're not going to click the share to Facebook button in your app, you don't actually need to build it. You just need to have it there. And that's like a really huge thing. So telling people and communicating how that's going to be done actually really influences the apps themselves.
Oh man, was that the perfect segue. So I have a question for everyone, and specifically for Jared, but also for everyone here. And maybe this is blasphemy, but why are hackathons competitive? Why do we have judging at hackathons? Like, that's just kind of like a high-level question, because from what I'm hearing about the Women in Tech panel, where it's, and just for newcomers in general, it's very imposing to go into a hyper-competitive environment, and also for the idea of seeing what everyone did and creating hacks for the demo. I'm very curious kind of what the philosophy is behind having competitive hackathons in the first place.
So, in my opinion, why not? I think having the actual competition, if it's too competitive, that's a really bad thing. But I think having small prizes, even just titles for the prizes is good because it gives people something they want. Or if you win, you could say, oh, I've done this before. But there's definitely something to be said about promoting collaboration in hackathons and limiting the competition, if any.
So the response to why hackathons should be competitive, why shouldn't anything be competitive? Like why do we have games? Why do we have competition? Because it's fun. So in 2010, the only other student hackathon that we had seen was Hack and Why, and they didn't really have prizes. They had maybe like Amazon gift certificates or like it was like on the order of like $200 or $300. And PennApps made a big deal out of having a $2,500 first prize. And then that's only gotten bigger. The reason we originally did it was really hard to get people to turn out. Like as hard as it is to get people to come to a first time hackathon now, like believe me, it used to be worse. And so at least we could say like, hey, you could win this like huge prize. Like you're not just like throwing a weekend away, which used to be the perspective for a lot of people that I tried to persuade. And then historically, it gets into this thing where you can't really get rid of the prize because it's like what happened to your hackathon? Like what you guys used to have a prize.
People like to see the top hacks.
Actually, when I talk to my friends in high school who don't know what a hackathon are, one thing that interests them a lot is the prizes. They're like, oh, you won X at blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I should check out what this is.
I actually have something to add to this. It's kind of weird to quote yourself, but so... I reserve the right to do that at this point. So I had a call the other week with a reporter who was writing about BitCamp, and we were talking about them winning the MLH season, and he was saying that he was really surprised that it wasn't way more competitive between schools, that there weren't schools showing up thinking like, we have to beat Maryland, we got to do it. And I told him like the competition isn't really what it's about, right? The competition is a tool for us to get new people involved in this community and to really highlight the great things that are going on. And he closed the article with something I said that I even really surprised myself, but I said, you don't change your life by competing at sports. You change your life by participating on a team and working towards something together. That's the value of a hackathon, is you get together with people and you really work towards something together, and you learn a lot through those connections. Just because you win doesn't make you a better hacker than anybody else in the room, and just because you lose doesn't make you a worse hacker than anybody. I think that prizes are a tool to help us reward the people who are doing a great job. But we have to make sure that the one thing we're paying attention to is that if people aren't winning prizes, that it doesn't prevent them to coming to the next hackathon, right? We have to make sure that we show them that there's value and that we appreciate what they're doing no matter what, even if they're not winning. So showing that's kind of important.
So the only thing I want to add to the competition thing is I know for my university, the fact that there is competition and there's a league lets us be eligible for academic intercollegiate funding. Which is awesome because when travel reimbursement isn't available, I can get my school to pay for me to go. So the fact that competition is there enables my attendance and anyone at my school who doesn't have any money. University of Cincinnati. And I encourage everyone to look into that same model for people who want to attend and have academic intercollegiate funding available at their schools. I'd also like to say I don't like the demo style or the interactive video or the demo style. I feel I've gone to a lot of startup weekends and I got really fed up with startup weekends. I got really good at faking being technical and winning without writing a single line of code. And I think science fair style demos and demos where judges actually get to touch things encourages people to be more serious about it. And so I would say that.
Hey everyone, I'm Jeff. I think going back to the judging and the demos and such, this was actually nice coming off that one. There's something interesting with the way that we present them all, in that demos have become videos or have become fake mock-ups of a product. But it's important to remember that the reason you're making something is because you think it's special or useful. And it's important to be able to communicate that. And I think the communication is key. So whether you're faking or not, don't fake because that makes you an asshole. But the key is communication, and if there's a good way to do it, then do that. And I think there's a lot of space to innovate within judging and prizing and demoing in general. I don't think videos are the way to do it, even though I like videos a lot. but the key is in communication, and whether that comes through the product itself or through your pitch, it's not slimy to convince someone that what you've done is amazing or special, and that's important to remember as you go into the demos.
So the one piece I just had to say here was about the demos versus doing the 60-second or 2-minute just explanations, like all the quick, rapid pitches, is going back to how John was talking about the evolution of hackathons. And what I noticed when going to Disrupt, where they still do the pitches for like 300 projects, they do it amazingly well. First off, AV to do that is like really hard to do. So if you want your hackathon to fail, that's a probably good part to like do it at, to get it to fail. But the piece is, I found that the 60 seconds or like 2 minutes, those things, like how people have said, it's really easy to fake those. And it also becomes more of a business pitch competition then, than actually about the technical building of something. A science fair, you get to actually see and build something. The one thing I would say that's hard about a science fair is hardware can sometimes be more interesting to check out than software there. Like something on someone's laptop will like 100 people have their Macs in front of them. That kid has like an Oculus Rift on. Like, I'm gonna check that out. Everyone's gonna go check that out. Just some way to fix that, I don't know. But I think that's a big thing. But I definitely see the science fair style is a lot better if you guys want to keep the technical part in and stay away from it being the pitches.
To play devil's advocate, I think that the actual pitching is a really, in my opinion, important part of it, because it's fun. You're demoing what you actually made to a bunch of people. It promises that more people will actually see it. But I do agree that science fair is important too. So I actually like what Penn Apps does with the top 20 all do it. Top 10 in MHacks too, which is good. But I think the more that can demo logistically, the better. But that's my opinion.
I think more so goes into how you want your hackathon to be. Do you want to have it around the pitch? Like, does the pitches go with how you want your hackathon themed around the things, or the science fair? I think it's not like one's better than the other. It's just how you want the style to be. TechCrunch obviously is going to have more of a startup-y kind of feel to it. Like this might be a company business model sort of feel. So it depends on how you want to have it for your hackathon.
If you, also another thing is, if you want to get more people to know about hackathons, to come to hackathons who wouldn't usually, the demos are going to be the things that let people know, oh, these cool products were made, let articles come out about, at X-Hacks, this product was made, and just add publicity and just show that people actually made something cool.
Hi, my name is Brian, and just touch on a few things. Like, first of all, I see why the video format is really necessary, because it's the only way to scale demos so everyone can view it at the same time, because not everyone can have that public time in front of everyone. And it's also a great way to show off your hack afterwards, after the event. And I just love what'd you guys build? Oh, I sent my link for what I did at Hackathons like that. So that's a great way, why videos should stay, but for demoing, they shouldn't be only for demoing. But one thing that I just want to touch on, maybe an enhancement to the science fair system is just again, time is a huge thing, how much time you have at the venue, but having a certain slot, an hour, these groups will be presenting in this hour, judges will be flooding to them, but the best part of a hackathon to me is just seeing what other people come up with. Walking around, at Hack Tech, I was demoing and I was really proud of my app, but I really wanted to try that Connect 3D tower defense game with Oculus Rift. It's I want to go walk around, see what other people come up with. And even the judging system, what criteria do we come up with? What is a top hack, and what takes it to demos in front of everyone? I wanted to walk around, see what everybody came up with, because that's the best part of it for me.
Yeah, so actually, just bouncing off that real quick, one thing that I've tried to encourage at the expos is that only one person from a team is demoing at any given time, and they can rotate so that the rest of the team members can go check out other hacks. And that actually is better for everyone, because you get your hack checked out a lot more.
How many of you are familiar with Node Knockout or Rails Rumble? So I think that all of you should check them out as we're talking about this judging discussion, because all of the judging is done by people in the community testing their apps and voting on them. And I think there's a lot of room for kind of innovation and experimentation with how hackathons are judged as well in that vein. Rails Rumble and Node Knockout. And Static Showdown, apparently, which I haven't heard of, but sounds awesome.
That was a great point by Brian. Again, on the hardware thing, HackDuke also definitely showed some swaying towards the hardware due to probably the judges and the audience's technical expertise and the time that they could dedicate to just seeing the apps. What I wanted to mention was I was questioning where we're having projects swayed to being very front-end and displayed and tailored towards the prizes, just solely because these judges don't have time to go through it and read the code. And one was wondering if any of you all have opinions on that or suggestions on how we can get like intrinsically fully built projects rather than like that article that said how to hack the hackathon, just front end do it, communicate and whatever. Anything? Just let me know.
Cool. Hey guys, Hanson from Hack Princeton here, and I have kind of 2 points to make. So Hack Princeton has a really significant hardware component. We're kind of split 50-50 between software and hardware. And last fall, we kind of used a mix between the science fair model and the demo model. And so what we found is that for hardware hacks, especially people want to have a place to set up. It takes them forever to set up. They have to connect wires and like plug into electricity and everything, connect to electricity and everything, sorry. And it takes them forever to set up. And so when we were doing the demos, we had hardware teams presenting. We had demos of like 2 to 3 minutes, and the hardware teams alone took like 2 or 3 minutes just to set up. And then they had to present, and then they had to take it down, and that just like dragged on our presentation even longer. So I think what we were thinking of doing next time was just, especially because we have such a big hardware component, just extending the science fair time period and limiting the number of demos to like maybe 10 or like between 10 or 20. And the second one I had comment, Alexi, I don't know if you talked about this earlier, but you guys tried out using second screen at our hackathon. Do you remember you made that? Yeah. Now, I think that was really cool. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I think implementing something similar would be.
Cool. Yeah. So something we built for fun last season. This would be a good place to talk about it. We built this thing called Second Screen, which is an app for somebody who's watching hackathon demos. And you can do things like a hackathon demo, or you can do things like tell the person that made the thing that if they finish it, you would use it. And what it does is it gives you their email, so it's like you're pre-building your own little launch rock. So you can be like, wow, I've got like 40 people who, if I finish this thing, would totally use it. It's up at, I think, secondscreen.meteor.com. It's like in a half-baked state, but like with a day of work, it could like work for your hackathon. But bother me about it, or just fix it up yourself. It's open source on GitHub. So it's on my GitHub at github.com/alexeymk find it there, or secondscreen.meteor.com.
And I think that concept was really cool, and I think because we were moving more towards the science fair style presentations, I think one way maybe MLH could help out was maybe just building like a kind of a shell, maybe iPhone app or web page for all the hackathons, and to just import everything so you could vote and like do that while wandering around science fair and just being able to see what happens in real time.
So yeah, last thing real quick. What do you guys think about public voting? We've tried it a little bit with challenge posts. We've tried it a little bit with Twitter. Usually there's too much craziness going around to implement it, but just like public voting where like everyone at the hackathon could potentially like vote, and I don't know how their vote, like maybe their vote just counts for like you send extra judges that way or something. Raise your hand if you would want to like consider implementing like a public voting system at your hackathon. Okay, or even like a separate, okay, cool. So we'll talk about that at some time when we're just discussing.
Yeah. Just a quick question for the organizers of pen apps. I know 2 pen apps ago, you split up all the demos into separate rooms. Was there a specific reason that you didn't do this again?
Too many demos to put in one. There were just too many demos to put in one room. It would have taken like 6 hours to get through all of them. So we divided. Well, we had 3 rooms running at the same time. And no, it took 2 hours doing the 3 rooms, and then another 1.5 hours for the final demos.
All right, let's give a round of applause for everybody who just contributed to that discussion.